Well, here we are at the Axeman Heats wood boiler project again. Haven't done an update of it lately. Been having some pretty serious internet connection problems over the past couple months, so haven't really been able to upload any videos, but we'll do one today and see if we can get it uploaded. As you can see, the outbuilding has the porch enclosed. And we got the boilers all plumbed in, wired up, and running all 4 zones now. So that part's done. There's a couple little things to do, and there's some, finishing on the pine boards and stuff that are in there. And our chimney, if you can see, that's the one on the left there. The new chimney is drafting really well. So we've had some cold spells in November, and it seems to be pulling through them with no problem at all. Let's go up and have a look. Alright, so here's what we got going on inside here. The Axeman's just sitting here sleeping right now. Coal bin full of coal. It's just eating out of the coal bin. This is the main electrical box. This is where the electric comes in, and we run it over to this box, and then out to the various things that need to be powered on the Axeman, like the high limit aquastat, the anthrostat, pump, and the motor. So we still have one more little wiring project for a light outside the building here. So basically what we're going to do is wire it so that the light comes on whenever the boiler's running. So that's an interesting little feature that you don't normally have. It's been sleeping for a while, so it looks like we got about minus 0.01 draft on this chimney. Ooh, it's actually, you can actually feel the warmth in the chimney. So yeah, even though this chimney isn't very tall, it's only 10-11 feet, something like that, from that point there. It still seems to be drafting pretty good. A little hard to get shots of it because you can't get far enough away from it to really see. But that's what it looks like. We extended the pressure relief valve pipe out so that it was coming down right by the motor, so it was going right on that electrical box before. And we wired the pump, so in this setup the pump runs 24/7 through the headers into the DHW zone, the domestic hot water zone, and into the radiant floor loop, which is controlled in the house. So basically we just constantly pump hot water to that and it regulates itself. The heat exchanger in the basement of the house is hooked up with a zone valve, as well as the one in the basement of this outbuilding. There, you just heard it close. That was this zone valve closing. Right now I'm doing a little troubleshooting, so I have some of the zones turned off. This zone valve is for this outbuilding. There's an air handler in the basement with a heat exchanger in it, and we just pump water down through the PEX to it. I believe this one goes down into the basement where the air handler is, and that's the domestic water hot plate there. Domestic water comes in from the house here, goes up, travels through the heat exchanger and comes out hot, and then it goes back to the house and into this outbuilding. There's our expansion tank up on the shelf. Currently have that off because I'm looking at a pressure problem, so I have the tank valved off at the moment. And that's pretty much it. Plumbing setup, wire setup. Well, right on the other side of this wall here, there's a box. This houses the zone valve controls. It's a little haphazard at the moment, but basically what we have is this relay, which you will hear clunk on and off pretty often, and this transformer control the house heat exchanger zone valve. So whenever the house heat exchanger down in the basement calls for heat, this relay clicks on, turns on the zone valve, and the pump that runs 24/7 just pumps water to it, and that's that. This is the thermostat control for the this outbuilding. This goes down into the air handler in the basement, and this just provides 24 volts to the zone valve whenever there's a heat call down there. That's that. I'm going to go outside and try to get a better shot of this header stuff from the window, since it's easier to see that way rather than panning up and down. Alright, so this is looking in from the window. You can see our PEX runs come in from the concrete floor, and the lower header is the return header, and the upper header is the supply header. And we have 5 zones. One is a spare. That's the plate heat exchanger up there. And up there is our air scoop and our expansion tank and our water fill. Water fill's manual. And there's air separator up there. That's the supply and return from the boiler. They go across the room along the ceiling and down to the boiler. So that's that bit. Here it is running on a heat call. This here is the repair sleeve that was made by one of the guys on the forum, and seems to be working pretty good. They were set in there with set screws. It's split, so you can undo the set screws and pull it off of there. And theoretically, I guess once you get significant wear in this part, you can probably flip it around and get it to wear on another part of the sleeve. And down inside the bin there's also an end piece that he made to put on there. It all seems to be working pretty good. It's a good option. I know Axeman used to make something like this, but I don't think they make it anymore. So if you need one, get on the forum and look for the repair sleeve thread. So what we're eventually going to do with this one is it's going to get a second motor over on this side just to drive the auger. But that's a project for another day. Right now we're just finishing everything up. But looks good, runs good, runs the way it's supposed to. No problem. Well, that's about it. The only thing we didn't really talk about is the coal bin. That's in there. They're the slats for the coal bin. There'll be a door that goes over this when it's finished eventually, but the light isn't wired up in there right now, so we can't really see anything in there with the camera. See what the gopher's doing, but it's been running for at least a couple weeks now, so I would bet the gopher has made a little bit of a divot into it. Well, that's about it for today.